Happy today, Friday, the 5th of July 2024. I'm in London, in Greenwich at the moment, and so we've just had the elections. A massive congratulations to Keir Starmer's Labour Party. A massive commiserations to Rishi Sunak's Conservative Party, and there are some in-between other parties that seem to have done well into that. So congratulations to all that have gone as expected, and commiserations to the others. My name is Yannick Naya. I am one of 3 directors at Black Majority Ethnicity Volunteers Community Interest Company, which is registered in the UK, in London, in Greenwich. We are a neurodivergent and disabled people's organisation, predominantly working in Greenwich and other London boroughs to support both parents and children, as well as young people with special educational needs and disabilities, and also adults with disabilities. We started this work formally in September 2019 when we became registered. Predominantly, we work to support self-determination at the moment, economic fairness for the neurodivergent and disabled community. We also work to connect disabled people from African and African ancestry communities with organizations that require their services. We try to create a more inclusive and equitable funding environment that supports a deeper understanding of underserved Black community leaders, Black-led sector, Black-owned, Black organizations serving disabled and neurodivergent communities. We're a small charity with a very small team. In addition to our 3 directors, we've got 3 or 4 volunteers who work with us regularly, from different backgrounds: legal, psychology, finance, and others. But it is a small team, and we allocate between 4 to 6 hours per week to try and do this work amongst us. As a founder of BME Volunteers, I identify as autistic. I also lived with physical disability, which is visible, and I also live with physical disability, which is invisible in terms of things like gout arthritis and just broken parts of my body, knee, back, spine, neck, which has fixtures, scaffolding built, especially my knee inside of it, which has a significant impact throughout the day, which isn't visible to the naked eye. So I often use wheelchairs to support myself. I have a history of, suicide ideation. That was part of my alcoholism. I've been sober for about 14 years now, so I'm a little bit behind that, but at the same time, I still have to do a lot of work to work on myself to maintain that. I go through bouts of depression, migraines from time to time, but I'm happy that I'm still here and still alive, as I have a good understanding of what it means to not be in this space of mind in my head. My arthritis is quite chronic. I've had it now for about 20 years, so it affects me typing, writing, and so on. And so one of the ways in which I need support is for somebody to literally convert some of these things in a text format for me. When I say we're a small organization, we're very petite. We turn over about 35,000, I think, last year. Our accounts have been done, and the year before it would have been around 25. So we are a tiny, tiny organization, so we definitely need more support. As an organization, we want to create a space for African and African ancestry, neurodivergent and disabled Londoners to basically continue to come together, to be able to build peer capacity amongst themselves, as well as express their experiences and collective voice in their way. At the moment, these individuals often have to fit into experiences, fit into by and for disabled spaces, not led by African and African-led organizations. And quite often, I think the space doesn't allow a deeper or a fuller understanding, which then connects to being able to celebrate the unique needs and experiences that we bring to the table, and I guess those challenges too. So our take is that by creating a dedicated physical space, both online and offline, individuals can connect with one another and share similar backgrounds about challenges, working towards and creating a more inclusive and supportive environments that cater to the needs of this community. Last year, we were successful in our application to Trust for London, and we managed to secure some funding to bring organisations and people together once per month. We would now like to build on this piece of work and the knowledge that we have actually gained from doing this piece of work. The main objective is really to develop targeted by and for-led programs and initiatives that address specific needs and support us to challenge poverty, but on the flip side too, puts us on a stepping stone towards economic empowerment. This look like? I guess providing accessible infrastructure, assistance with fundraising, and a completely different approach to fundraising than what is currently being offered, because on our take, it is costly, expensive, psychologically damaging, and hinders progress. And we do think there are alternatives which can avoid all of that. We also offer amongst ourselves tools and resources for supporting each other to build capacity where one of the members of our community or attendants has more knowledge in that area, and as well as looking to the wider disability community to support us. Most importantly, I think, is to develop relationships and I guess more networks to expose ourselves to, I guess, the quality or a different quality or a variety of quality and expertise, more resources, financial as well as non-financial, and to kind of begin to put together what may, in years to come, look like a collective voice, which we think for a number of different reasons is haphazard in our sector. So we have derived at where we are at today in terms of looking to empower ourselves and our community following a freedom of information research we undertook in January 2023. As part of this research, we wrote to over 430 public authorities to ask: 1. A list of Black-led organizations, groups, networks, forums, or entities that applied for funding from the 1st of January 2019 to the 1st of January 2023. And two, a list of public names, perhaps telephone numbers and emails of Black-led organizations, group networks, and forums or entities that were able to secure funding in the same time period, 1st of January 2019, 1st of January 2023. The feedback gathered unveiled a number of different challenges that led to this piece of work. The Freedom of Information findings in January 2023. Data suggest 75% of those that responded do not record information to be able to tell whether or not they're meeting their public sector equality duty. 2, 15% record some of the data. And 3, 85% did not understand that by not recording and monitoring it, it was difficult for them to demonstrate compliance with the UK public sector duty. Given what our analysis suggests may be a huge structural issue, and mindful of the upcoming election, we took some steps to write to Sir Keir Starmer officially in government today, but our letter to him was on the 20th of January. I will just summarize to you what we discussed and mentioned. Dear Sir Keir Starmer, we hope this email finds you in good health and high spirit. We are writing to extend a cordial invitation on behalf of London's African and African ancestry, neurodivergent and disabled communities to meet with us and engage in a meaningful dialogue. As the leader of the Labour Party, we want to greatly admire your commitment to social justice, equality and inclusivity. We want to believe that your insights and support would be invaluable in addressing the challenges faced by our community. London's African and African ancestry, neurodivergent and disabled community represents a diverse group of individuals who identify both as African and African ancestry and have neurodivergent conditions or disabilities. Despite our unique experiences, we share common struggles in accessing equal opportunities, healthcare, education, and employment. It is our collective desire to advocate for change and create a more inclusive society for all. We would be honored if you could spare some time from your busy schedule to meet with us. The meeting would provide an opportunity for you to hear directly from our community members, understand our concerns, and work together to develop effective strategies for positive change. We believe that your involvement and support would amplify our voices and contribute to the advancement of our cause. We propose a meeting at a mutually convenient time and location in London. We're open to suggestions and are willing to accommodate your schedule. In short, we got a response from the office. The case reference to this document is case reference L031449, and we had a response from the office of Keir Starmer, leader of Her Majesty's opposition at the time, a gentleman called Ben, who signposted us with their community engagement lead. But unfortunately, given the preparations for the election and our health too at the time, those meetings could not go ahead. We would now like to begin those conversations, given that the election has been and has gone through. Please note, exactly the same letter, similar wording, went out to Rishi Sunak's office exactly the same time. We did not get a response from that. Last but not least, the majority of our community do not vote. We call them non-voters. That's not because they don't have a political affiliation or challenges or wants, needs and preferences. That's because the option, they feel the options available do not cater to any of those needs. In 2022, May, we put together a document called Disproportionate Voices. And the document assessed and looked at why people vote, why people don't vote, and the implications of both of those choices, which is what led us to reach out to the political leaders to have those conversations. So mindful of the data around the election today, and whilst it's amazing in terms of the landslide and perhaps even the swing from Labour to Conservative over one parliament, we're aware that early feedback regarding the data suggests that the actual turnout was low. I think 35% for Labour this time round, if I'm going off BBC data at the moment. So please help us, in short. Please help us complete this survey. Please help us begin to connect with one another. Please help us make a difference to disabled children. Please help us make a difference to disabled people. This has been a long voiceover. I don't normally do many like this, but I thought this was necessary. So thank you for your time, even if for listening. And please help us by completing the survey. And from there, we can begin to take this conversation forward. Thank you.